Hello, I'm Skye Kamesis, the director at PandoraStar, and we're going to be talking a little bit about anxiety today. Now, anxiety has been a major nemesis of mine, so I speak from experience. I've had crippling anxiety, I've had panic attacks, and I've had insomnia just from anxiety, so I do not speak from anything resembling a high horse. We're going to take this one step at a time. So anxiety can be caused by a few things. It can be caused by genetic factors, it can be caused by the environment and environmental stress. It can be caused by finances and financial difficulty. It can be caused by childhood trauma and abuse. And it can be caused by lack of nutrition, because your body needs specific hormones in order to be able to make the serotonin, the dopamine, and the oxytocin to be able to be an antidote to stress. And when you're lacking the right nutrition, you can't make enough of the hormones that you need to make. So we're going to take it one step at a time. So general anxiety that seems to spread out of nowhere and stay for a very long time normally comes from childhood or genetics. So you can literally have anxiety from when you're inside the womb, particularly if your mom was very anxious about giving birth to you, or about family issues, or about finances. You may have lots of receptors for anxiety. Many women also confuse anxiety with love. So they literally say, oh, I worried all day about you, as a way of showing love. And they have this very strong distortion between love and worry energy. So when you start to work on anxiety, you're looking at, where did it come from? When's the first time you experienced this? And if you don't remember, you can use your body, you can use different muscle testing techniques to figure out where exactly it is that you first experienced this level of anxiety, whether it's yours or whether it's inherited. Obviously, if you have a bit more money, you can go and get some swabs done and you can see if you have the anxiety gene and how many generations down it's come and where it came from. So the thing about anxiety is that it keeps you in this constant state of beta, and that takes up a lot of energy, a lot of resources, and a lot of stress hormones, and it stops you from being able to cope with the present moment. So when you're dealing with anxiety, one of the most important things to remember is to use your body. Now that can be through exercise, but it can also be through self-soothing. It can be through EFT, which is the emotional freedom technique. It can be through the havening technique. It can be through self-hugging. It can be through laughter yoga. But you want to use your physiology to shift yourself out of an anxious state. And you want to allow particularly your stomach and your liver to move, because when you are anxious, they tend to kind of become really stiff like a vice. So that when your body's shaking through laughter, or shaking through, this is the havening technique where your arms move up and down and you roll your eyes, or you're using the acupuncture points for EFT, you're literally teaching your body how to release the old trauma and stress. Now, the temptation when you're anxious is to avoid stress, but guys, I promise you, this is the worst thing you could possibly do. It's kind of like a temptation to avoid exercise when you're overweight. It's the worst thing you can possibly do. Obviously, it really hurts to get on a treadmill when you're heavy, or because literally you'll feel it in your knees and your body will ache when you're doing exercise, but it's worth it. And it's the same thing when you're anxious. Facing your fear straight off the bat is one of the most powerful things that you can do. So if you don't feel like going for a walk or going outside, that's exactly when you need to go for a walk and go outside, because that's literally the way that your nervous system starts to recalibrate itself and your body starts to get what it needs to be in order to be able to heal. So if it's in your genes and if it's in childhood trauma, then you literally would address it through working with a professional. If it's caused by the environment, so let's say you really get triggered by your flatmate never doing the dishes, or you're scared of not being able to pay the bills, then you resolve anxiety through skill building and through clear and open communication. So skill building is recognizing that, for example, being financially mature is a skill that you have to develop, and that also being assertive and asking for what you want and need, living in a home environment, is a skill that you'd have to develop. So be like, okay, the absence of these skills is putting a lot of stress on my mental health. I have to develop these skills in order to protect and nurture my mental health. It's the same thing if you're in a toxic job or in a toxic relationship. It's important to move out of that in order to protect your mental and emotional and physical health. So that's what you have to realize. What skills am I lacking? And that skill might even be the skill of recognizing an honest person. It might be the skill of allowing people that like you to be close to you, instead of always going for the person who never likes you or who isn't really that into you. So these are the skills that you might, I need to learn to recognize somebody who's actually kind, who's actually loving, who's actually trustworthy. And then shifting that so the level of the anxiety really goes down and you feel like you're more in power and control. The last thing about anxiety is shifting that state from beta to alpha or theta. So you can literally use the light machine to help you shift states from, I like using the gamma programs for anxiety. I also like using our hypnagogia and LSD programs for anxiety because they really powerfully shift you out of the beta state, but they also shift you out of worrying. They move you into this amazing world of mandalas, colors, shapes, and lights. And they show you the truth that worry never solved a problem, and that all problems do have solutions, and that normally a little bit of distance is enough to save your own life a lot of the time, and to give your body a chance to recalibrate, reset, restart, so that you're not solving problems from a place of anxiety. And that's what you have to remember, is that when you're anxious, don't make decisions from an anxious place. Always wait until you're calm before you decide what to do. Because when you try to decide what to do from a place of anxiety, you're deciding from a place of panic, and panic is never a strong, powerful leadership role. The other thing that I find really effective with anxiety is power poses. So like things like the Superwoman pose, like putting both your hands on your hips and standing there for 5 minutes whilst looking up. Things like putting your hands above your head, that's the boss pose. Kind of lying there like you're under the sun. And you see how they open your chest and open up your meridians? Both of them kind of force you to push your chest up forwards. This actually completely relaxes the thalamus, which is one of the most important hormone regulators you have, right? Another thing you can do is literally give yourself a hug, run your hands up and down your arms, and really like a tight squeeze. You also get these amazing blankets that are weighted blankets that you can put on, and it's like you're getting a hug from a person because they've got so much weight on you. They're very good for kids and adults with ADHD, with anxiety disorders, or with mental health conditions, because they create this really lovely oxytocin, serotonin, just from the gentle pressure that they have on your body with them being warm. I hope that you recover from your anxiety soon. Just remember, you're not in it alone. If you'd like more information,